And put my little lines in the middle of that fat piece just to give it a little visual interest. Give a little more weight to that lettering. And when you blow away the chalk residue, that's when it really starts to come to life. Okay, so there we are. So give thanks for her blessings. So now we need to put the words to and paused and she. Now I've already established that I really want the word she to be one of my dominant things too. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and make that first, because I'm probably going to have to erase it a couple of times just to be able to put to and paused in here. And to be honest, I could double up the to right here, but let's try and get she up here somewhere. So my center point, if I put this on my grid, my center point is going to be about right here on my frame. So I kind of want my H to land in that spot a little bit. So for this, I want to do a cursive she. So I am going to start out with my base letter, just like I showed you guys with the word blessing. I'm going to start out with my base letter, which is the H. Don't worry about the swirly-doos. Let's just get the lettering on there. We can add the swirly-doos in a minute. And then I'm going to come back and add the E. Okay? And then I'm going to figure out where I want my S at this point. And I'm going to do that one with the swirly-doo. But see, I already got off a little bit. So, because I really want this arc not to be so tight or so loose, I want it to kind of come in a little tighter. And I'm going to go like this and then come out and finish out like this. Okay, now let's get the curly cues on the H to give it a little more interest. So I've kind of found the placement of it before I begin with my swirlies. Now I'm going to take this guy, and I think I want to put this one right here, and I'm going to attach it to my E right over here. But I'm going to kind of curl it a little bit this way. And I'm going to draw that right on there. And you don't have to get it exact. Remember that this is just a guide. It doesn't have to be perfect, because you can always come back and finish it off when you come back and add your little swirls there. And I'm going to come back and make this little guy a little fatter through here. See how it's automatically starting to get that look, that little chalkboardy look? And all I did was I used a guide to get my swirls right. And now I don't like the arch of this H. I think I want my H to come over just a little bit more. So I'm going to come in here like this. Alright, and then I'm going to start adding my swirly-doos back to my H. So I'm going to come in and put like a little hat on him like that. And then maybe because this guy has got to loop back around like that. See how it starts filling in that space? And we started with just a flat letter. So it really is about your letter shaping. And we're just going to add a little bit more weight to that side. And come back and add a little more weight to this. And then come back around like this. Put a little more weight at the top of the H. Just like that. See, when we start adding all of that dimension, that's really when it starts to come to life. And then we'll come back in here, and I like to have my S's have a little thickness in here as well. It gives it a little more body. And then right across here. Okay. And then finish out in here with a lot of little swirls. Alright. Do you like? This is a little bit shaky down in this area, so I'll probably come and add a little more weight in here as well. Remember, if you don't like it, it's just chalk. Erase it. Okay? You guys liking it so far? Now we got to get paused and to in here. So she paused. I've got a lot of space in here. So I think I'm going to put paused here. The word to right here, give thanks. Or should I put, yeah. So we're going to work on to. So for to, since we have this little swirl action thing going on here, let's build on that. And let's take the letter to and do this guy. So it just looks like an extension of this. And then let's take our piece that has the little cut in the center, the nail head. Remember, up and down is what we want. You want that hole to be up and down, and then just drag it down. And see how it automatically adds that double line for you, and it's perfectly straight. And then we'll add the TO right here. And then we may want to pull this down so it just looks like a double line as well. Fun? You guys getting it? Hi, Laura. Okay, so then now we need to get the word paused in here. So, how are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing good. Okay, so what I want to do now is fill in the word paused here. So I have a lot of uppercase words, but I don't have really anything lowercase to match this. So let's do it sort of whimsical. And let's do a little curvy D like this. Uh-oh, I don't like that. I'm not liking it. Because the way give is, it looks like it doesn't, as much as I love how this is going, I'm going to have to change it. Do you guys see what I see? The word give is too big, and the to is lost over here. So we're just going to have to get rid of it, as much as I hate to. But we're going to make it work. I don't like it when you have to stop and really think about how words are placed. They should flow. If they're not flowing, then it's not going to work. So let's do this. Let's go. How can we do this? It's this guy that's probably getting in the way right here, but I like him. So let's make the word paused come out here. She paused. P. All right, we're going to take, remember your ruler, because you don't want to run out of space. She paused. Alright, she paused, and then we can do the two over here, which is that back side. Remember where the ridge is. We did the ridge. I got to re-emphasize it, so I'll show you again. Don't do it over your chalkboard, but you're just going to take the ridge of your scissors and put it inside of that chalk, and you're just going to saw back and forth until you have a little hole. And then with it up, with that hole up and down, we're going to take and drag out. And that gives us our solid line. Now we're going to do our little cappy swirl thing. And then we're going to have our O. And remember that O needs to also have the double line, or it doesn't make any sense. And if you want, you can even add a double line to the top. And when you blow on it, that's when you get that really fine line. And if you want, you can even top off the bottom of your tea. Okay, now I need to get give in here. And I think I add a give with this. So let's try it. Let me see here. Remember, now, in this case, this is not flat anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my little chalkboard over here, and I'm just going to, and you can do this with a piece of scratch paper, and I'm just going to scribble, scribble, scribble until that gets flat again. So I have a good, nice, clean surface. And then I'm going to take this and put my little line back in there. Now, let's try. Oh, I don't like it. Try and sharpen it again. Chalk broke off in my pencil sharpener. That can't be good. Hold on. I don't want to get anything on that chalkboard, so I'm gonna pull it under here and empty it into my trash can before I make a huge mess. Are you guys following me so far? Get that really good and thin, good and sharp. Okay, so now I've got my little sharpener here. Okay, so how are we gonna get give in there now? Cause give, let's see, let's go with the I here. We have uppercase. Let's see, how do we want to do this? I liked how we had it before with the double line, but I don't think I have enough room in here to really make it emphasize. We can try. So let me, I don't think it looks neat enough because there's not enough space. Anybody got any ideas? Oh, wait, I got it. I know what to do. It just occurred to me. Okay, we can still, let's do this. Let's take this and put it here with this. And make that all curly and put our 2 there. Okay, I like that. See guys, this is all it is. It's just a bunch of trial and error until you get it right. Let's try again. 2. Okay. Now we can put give right here and we can do the big letters She paused to give. Oh, I don't have it going the right way. Up and down. It has to be up and down or it won't work. It's not working anyway because the ridge isn't deep enough, but that's okay. We're going to make this a big fat letter. Remember, we're just using this as a guide. We're using the back of the chalk to make the thicker letters. Try not to blow on it too much. Okay, now let's finish it off where it gives it that nice clean look. And that's going to be with our lettering. Let's see. If we come in here, we're going to add a lot of chalk and just really finish these letters off. Give them a really nice, clean, crisp edge. I don't like that at all. Let's try again. This is all it is, ladies. It's just a bunch of trial and error. Remember the tools that we have in place to help clean it up. And don't forget about our little sponge guy if we need to really clean up. And let's try it this way. Let's try to... I like this better. Use your ruler. Don't try to do it yourself. Because that's really what makes it look so clean, is when you use your ruler. And I want to make sure that that lines up right there with that. So I'm going to put it here. And then I want to make sure I'm lined up right here with the eye. So I'm going to put it there. There we go. That looks much neater, doesn't it? Okay, so then I'm going to come down with the second line on the eye. Come down with that little part right there on the G. Cap off that top of the G. I'm going to pull this line over and come in on the V, come down on the E, here, 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 here. Love it! What do you guys think? Now, I'm still not super happy with this guy. So, maybe it needs to just be a tiny, I like that little curl. So let's do it this way. You like? Yes, that's why chalk is cool. Now, once I'm happy with this, and I love the spacing and everything looks fantastic, all I have to do is come back with some clear acrylic paint, spray paint, just whatever you can get, 99 cents, or a fixative, and spray over the top of this. Let me do some cleanup down here. And it will be permanent. Now, I think it would be fun to add some color to this now. So I'm going to come back in here where my little heart is, and I'm going to pull out this pink chalk and put that there. And it might be fun to add some highlights to my she. So maybe come in here and up here. And maybe a little on that E or that H, and then in that E, and then back around on that loop. Come back down on here. because this really is where all of the true art comes from, is when you're just doodling. And you know, we could even do and that just puts the emphasis back on those lettering. And if you like it, you can leave it. It's hard to see in video, but anyway, once you're finished, I'm just going to go ahead and call this one finished for now. Once you're finished, what you're going to do is go take it outside and spray it with some acrylic spray paint, okay? And then you're going to put it back into your glass. Before you put it into your glass, let's take that eraser thing that we have and erase our line. And you may have to use the pencil eraser because I put this on with the chalk. Now look at how that starts cleaning up that chalkboard. Don't worry, we're going to make it all match again because I don't want it to be that clean. This is why you need 4 coats of the chalkboard paint on the glass, Julie. Because you may erase some of it if you don't. And you know what's so cool about this is it doesn't matter how many times you do it, it'll be unique every single time. So this could be a fun little project that you could do multiples of, and it would be unique every time. So you could give them to different people or make a series of them. And the cool thing is when the holidays are over, if you don't spray it with acrylic paint, then when the holidays are over, all you have to do is erase it and start over. Be careful with this glass if you use your finger to do this. But see how that just erased that big thick line? And you know what? Like I said, you may have to come back and add some of these little pieces back in here before you put it in the frame. You know, I'm not going to make this a permanent piece because I want to be able to have it as a holiday home decor, and I may erase this and start over again at Christmas time and put something different in it. But you guys get the idea. And the other cool thing is if you really want to start over and remove all like markings from before, you can always take a baby wipe and wipe it down. And if you really don't like it, you can always put another coat of black chalkboard paint on it. Now, I may decide to add a few more flourishy little things to this side over here, but I want to get everything on here before I do it. I want to try and get it in my frame. I'm really awful at this. I'm always scared it's going to get me. You guys know what I mean? These little things, these little clips always seem to bite me. Does anybody have any questions while I'm fussing with this thing? Now, before you put your glass back in there, because it will rock back and forth, you do want to make sure that you put the other pieces back in there so they take up the space on the frame. And you want to make sure you put your frame back in there going in the right direction, you know, the easel part, because you don't want to have to take it apart again. And there we have it, a beautiful chalkboard piece. Probably. I don't see why you couldn't, Julie, because the chalkboard paint is very similar to gesso. So it is a primer. So I believe the question was, for those of you watching the recording, is could you paint, if you sealed this with like, say, acrylic, clear acrylic, could you paint over it again to add another coat of paint over the top of that to begin again? Yes, I believe you could, because like I said before, it's just a sealer. It's gesso. It's basically black gesso. I mean, it's not, I don't know if it's got, maybe it's got some other properties in it as well. But, okay, so see, like, once this is in the frame, I see I got a couple of little holes here. We might want to come back with a few more flourishes. And that's where these little stencils and things come in handy, because you can build off of this swirl right here on this S. And then if you don't like the direction it's going in this way, flip it this way. So like, for example, if I wanted my S to be maybe extended out a little bit more to fill in the rest of the frame, I could always do this. Like I said, this is just a guide. Okay, so I have that, and I can come up here. And I don't like this hole here either, so there might be some little flourishy little, like maybe, I don't know. You guys get the point. I think the biggest key here is to practice a lot. Make sure that you're using different styles of chalk. You can, you know, even if they're broken off, using the sharpener to make them pointy. The T-square is definitely a must. Practice, 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 practice. And confidence is, you know, to me this looks very messy, but you guys think it looks cool. So, you know, you're going to be your worst judge a character there with your handwriting. So just, you know, play. And it's just chalk. And do like I did. I just bought a chalkboard and I practice on it. And, you know, it's not something I put out for home decor. It's just in here in my room, and I doodle on it, and I practice and I play, and I, you know, mess around with it. So just practice. And I think the more it looks like it's been used, the better it looks. My opinion. And another thing you could do to make it even cooler is go back to your Prima stash. I'm not going to glue these down tonight. But pull out your vines and decorate up your frames. Alter them up a little bit. Let me see what all I have in here. You know, look at how stinking cute this is going to get super quick. If I'm, you know, take some time and really add some embellishment. If I added this here and then took another one and added it here, look at how cute that got. You know, it's just the little things sometimes that make a big, huge difference. So, you know, if you're going to do this for a gift, you know, it might be a nice thing to do to add these little extra pieces here and there. You know, if you did this on a canvas, buy a canvas big enough to where you're actually doing the chalkboard art in a small section of it, and then alter up the other section of it with your mixed media projects. You know, build out some of these little pieces coming all the way out the frame. So does anybody have any questions or anything? You would like me to answer? I know, and if you were hosting a wedding, think about how beautiful this would be. I did this for a friend. Her daughter got married, and we made these chalkboards. We did little 5x7 frames, and it said reserved. Some of them said reserved. Some of them said dessert table, Mr. and Mrs., whatever. We had a Bible set out on a table next to the guest registry, and we asked that every person fill out a Bible verse, that highlight their favorite Bible verse. So we did all of that on chalkboards. We explained what we wanted to do on the chalkboards, and it was so inexpensive and so easy to do. We had a blast. And to be honest, with theirs, what we did was I bought the canvas core chalkboard paper. Instead of painting them, I bought the canvas core chalkboard paper, and I prepped it just like I would any other chalk surface, just like we did here, where I took the chalk and ran it all over it, and then we just hand drew it right there onto the chalkboard. So I know it wasn't so much about the finished project tonight, but I wanted you guys to get some techniques and some ideas for cheating a little bit if you wanted to. I really think that if you use these little handwriting books and you practice your handwriting and practice, half the problem is having a plan, is knowing, what the plan is going to be when you sit down to do it. That, I think, is part of it, is just get you a sketch pad and doodle. I really think it's important for that sketch pad to have lines so that you get a feel for where things start and stop, and where things, how things flow. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And